All right, traders. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome on back. I think I got my weekdays right at least today. Today is Friday. I'm kidding. Today's Thursday, January 22nd. Great to have all of us though back. I swear to you though, Martin Luther King just messed me up to begin this week, but today is Thursday. Alas, great to see Bill later, Roberto, Mario. Great to have all of us though here just joining us today. Lynn and Randy, all of us here just here inside our live trading room. And if you're back on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc. Popping up lower left, just right in front of my face right there, at Cyber Trading U. If you're new to our channel, stream, platform, social media, etc., just make sure to follow or subscribe to us on all of the channels, but namely on YouTube as well as Twitter/X, just down below lower left at Cyber Trading U, the name. Now, Mario logged into our trading room just a little while ago, and man, he was in a nice trade just before on this BGL. He was in from 3, which was a really nice trade because this ended up actually running up earlier this morning, late morning, I guess, early afternoon. Did we even call this out at that time? Nope. The first post on this trade was Mario, the BGL, just right at 2:08. He kind of logged in a little late here for the afternoon and jumped in on it. He was in from 3, but the thing was that it ended up topping off there earlier, so that is resistance, right? Just from the chart, loosely speaking, and then we figure, and definitely not loosely speaking, but a whole number of levels should be strong support resistance. So the more it keeps crashing into it, knocking into it here, just candle after candle, get big move shortly after. So, Mario, what do you do? You got like 30 cents on that trade? Hey, nice job. You got a nice exit right there. And maybe you're back in on it. Either way, if not just this, there's plenty of others out there. So, we're going to put this on our list for the afternoon just to begin. The BGL. It's a gold stock, Blue Gold Inc. I figure it's like some gold company, but maybe gold mining. Let's take a quick look. I'll read the description of the company out to you here. So, business of developing, financing, licensing, and operating gold mines in Ghana and elsewhere. I'd like to know what the elsewhere means, but Ghana, I'm sure other African nations. So, with that said, nice move here heading into the afternoon. That's for sure. Looking at the daily chart, weekly chart, this thing's been dropping off for quite a bit, so definitely not something that you should trust. If anything, it would be interesting to see if it can't continue today, maybe tomorrow it makes the pullback back down here. 280-ish pretty much was a good resistance it broke out from at first, 280, and then you had 3, and then it was pretty much off to the racetrack. So, after that now is pretty much this next peak, 340-ish, 345-ish, pretty much. It's above that now. So maybe this is the next move. Maybe this is going to make the next, push here, at least as long as it stays over this area. 340-ish, 345-ish, just kind of right around there. But great call out, great trade, decent liquidity. Hopefully this spread remains kind of tight, and see what it could do. Now, what we'll do is just pretty much go from top to bottom. We have a couple good trades that we worked out with earlier on today. IBRX, pre-market push. You have the TE. That was a really nice trade. That's still holding up pretty well, at least for the time being. And the USAR. So the USAR actually, let me just show that first. Between that and the CRML, I'd probably say the precious metal, rare earth, mineral-esque stocks are really your best bet here today. The USAR, Fausto has just been crushing it on as a swing trade. So probably from the last week and a half, you'd have to tell you the exact price that he's in from. But more or less, like this ended up breaking above a resistance, broke a higher high here over time, and from there it was in the clear. So really strong push just from this week, and then specifically today. So today, right out the gate here this morning, popped, and I actually took this as a day trade. So I wasn't in from such a low price like he called out from like last week and a half ago. So I don't really feel as comfortable swing trading it from these prices, even if it were to go higher. So what I did on this trade was I ended up basing this out as a day trade. We called out the gap fill here right around 23.57, close price from October 24th. So with that, we love our gaps here at CTU. We killed it last year just on specifically a number of different gaps. HIMS, SMCI. I'm sure I can name a few more at least off the top of my head, but nonetheless, moved right on up there. I ended up closing out most of my trades, like 4/5 of my trade right there. I still have 100 shares left just for fun, but if it ends up pulling back, I'll just yank the trade out. But at least for right now, I'm going to put the USAR back on our list here. Looks strong as day trade, but definitely as a swing trade. If you're not in on it as a day trade, then you should be in on it as a swing with Fausto. But funny enough, this actually isn't even the best rare earth or precious metal esque stock today. The CRML is taking on a life of its own. So CRML really strong push earlier on, but just held higher lows. Really strong trade today. I know Roberto was calling that out, I think, a few times. Who's in on the CRML, if anything? If not the USAR? Genevieve, later we're talking about it, at least earlier in the morning session. Anyone get in on this one? I'm not. I don't. I got no skin in this game, at least myself. But if anyone had jumped in earlier, you're looking great. Fausto flag essentially built. It took a while to get the reaction off the Fausto flag, but it worked. Right, worked out really good actually. It just took a while. Anna in on this trade, beautiful, very nice. So yeah, the USAR, the CRML. There was one yesterday, wasn't there? I thought there was one trade yesterday that we kind of found it was new. It was like, oh yeah, we didn't really see that one before. I think it was American Resources, right? AREC. Yeah, the afternoon yesterday. Remember this one? It was kind of a slow poke after 2:30. But now that you got me thinking about these stocks, all these different trades, we're not gonna call out every one of them, but the ones that we're more familiar with, or otherwise the ones that have good spread, good liquidity. So you know what? Don't mind going back to the well here on this one either, at least the AREC. Not up that 5% plus, but in terms of a stock from yesterday, relevancy, volume, liquidity, all that checks out. Pretty good trade. All right, now what we'll do is go from top to bottom here. I'm sure that we'll run into the TE trade at some point, but we'll get to that if otherwise. All right, so I got to show my pre-market data at least first here, though. The SXTP, we've seen this all throughout this week, and I swear to you, I'm going to turn over to a stock that we called out. It was from, I think, Friday last week before Martin Luther King. Your eyes are gonna pop out of your head. You're like, I can't believe that this happened. But it just goes to show that for a stock that's very low float, SXTP, less than 1 million shares in the float, well, what goes up comes right back down, if not as fast, then faster. And actually, a lot of times here, these stocks will get halted on the way down, and then they'll gap down on the reopen, make it even more brutal for you. So these types of trades are really just flavor of the morning, flavor of the day, if anything. Definitely not swing trades, but if anything, you should be getting out right around, reversal time, if anything, or at least by the time it's failing to hold higher lows, keep support afloat here. So shook down a little fast, but ended up seeing that come pretty quickly. Now, here's the thing. This is not our first rodeo with these types of stocks. This is pretty much our forte, at least. A lot of these stocks that were flavor of the morning earlier are done now. CMCT, at least from the morning watch list earlier today. This was on the morning list, but it was even a better pre-market trade. It was kind of a dud after the opening bell. It was dropping off to begin with here in pre-market, but it just goes to show, makes its run at first. That's it. Now take a look at this. You remember Vero? Do you guys remember this trade, Vero, Vero? You see this? I was on a coaching call earlier today. I couldn't believe it because I was just going to say, like, oh, what makes the percent gainers list one day makes the percent losers the next, right? That's kind of like the common phrase that you hear Fausto and myself say. I didn't take a look at this stock over the last few days. Just that was an assumption, right? So I didn't realize how bad this piece of garbage fell off. Oh my God. Imagine getting stuck in this thing. And it's unfortunate because hey, hopefully no one here in our trading room got stuck in this thing because this is what we preach not to do. You don't want to hold overnight for a stock like this. But the 99% of people that are uneducated out there and online, they are much more prone to getting stuck in these like casino stocks and hope and hold and smoke the hopium and doesn't work out too well for you, right? So yeah, that was crazy. I was on a coaching call earlier. I just saw that. I had to show that to you. So at least as we continue to go from top to bottom, geez, if it's not really at the high of the day at this point, probably not as much of a reason for us to focus in on it. Even here, the NAM trade, mineral stock. I like the name mineral in there. NAMID mineral shares. All right, so that part stands out. I guess it is kind of, holding a little bit from this last dip. If it can hold from here, as I say that, all right, you know what? We're going to pass on this thing today. Let it prove itself to you, right? Just like the BGL that Mario had called out. ASTI, another great trade. I think Genevieve was talking about this earlier today too. Just want to clarify something on that. So the ASTI, yeah, Richard called it out earlier. The I don't think there's an ETF for this one. I think there's the ASTS, and then you got the ASTI. Don't get confused on those two separate stocks, right? That's easy to do. Trust me, I know from experience. But the ASTI though, this thing's pretty cheap. This thing's looking pretty good though. Nice move on its own, kind of doing its own thing here right now. So it's not moving with that other stock. Wish the liquidity was a little bit better on the order book, but it was one that was mentioned earlier. Here we are now. It's still at the highs, so good trade. Now, if I turn over to that other stock, it's a little bit more expensive, but I mean, holy shit, look at this thing go. This is a literal rocket, pun obviously intended, AST Space Mobile. They have the Golden Dome project right now that they're working on recently, right? So ever since that news came out, it was either the end of last week or the beginning of this, either way, just the moment that came out, new all-time highs. And then from there, just still pushing. So you got this, and then this right here is the ETF for Space Mobile. It's not too inexpensive, unfortunately. But otherwise, though, you got ASTS. I'll rather just focus on the common here. So you got ASTI, that's its own company. You got ASTS, that's also its own company. You got a CRML ETF. Are you kidding me? It's actually more expensive than the equity, the common. Probably need to filter this out based on volume, don't I? Yeah, I do. Give me a sec here, folks. I knew something was off. My volume was like so low, I had to figure out everything was kind of spotty graph. HABA's not terrible. SATL's at the highs, kind of slow. Kind of a waste of time so far. For the last hour, it's been pretty much flat. But hey, hopefully when program trading kicks in, it can make a better push, right? So I'll give it a look here. SATL. Maybe space stocks are up today, not just the ASTS, SATL, maybe Lunar, maybe Rocket Lab. Plugs, talking about watching grass grow here. Geez. So I saw this called out earlier on today, and I hope if anyone was jumping into this that they were able to get more than 10 cents on it. It's tough to be watching this trade and looking for like a clean, real move that makes you money, unless if you're doing this on 5 or 10,000 shares, which is not something that we normally recommend for just anyone. So it's at the highs, but maybe F sells better, right? Maybe not. All right, well, we'll pass on both for the time being at least, but let's see if there's anything else looking better. NUAI was looking better. This was a phenomenal move earlier on today. Has been a great swing trade seemingly too. Goro, not bad either. This one also like a little slow. So Roberto called out RCAT earlier. Yeah, this is looking really strong and definitely on the swing side of things. This has turned out to be one of the best drone slash self-driving-esque whatever type of company. Autonomous driving slash drone, we kind of nickname them as the EVTOLs. You got Jobby, you got Archer, which I'm actually in, but I sure as hell wish Archer turns into RCAT. Oh my God, this thing, the roof has been blown off on this trade seemingly. So, all right, I'll take that back. The roof has not been blown off on this trade seemingly. We got a lot more room to go, I guess. Has 52-week highs, obviously, here. So last time it was even around these prices, you got to go back to like 2018. I don't know what happened here, but lows and wicks around 13 bucks. You got one wick here at 1560. It's currently trading above that right now. It's really difficult to use the long-term graph on this trade here. So I'd rather you just focus on Bookmap. It's not at all-time highs, though. So I just want to point that out. But I'll add it, though. Great trade, the RCAT. Anything else? Anything else? Got LAES here. I do like this stock. Take a look at Amy. That was another trade, I think, kind of related to a somewhat smaller level. Just I know that we were talking about this trade earlier, Tim and myself, and yeah, it's still looking pretty good. Amy. I don't mind adding this. I wouldn't mind adding LAES either. A little slower stock, but holding strong. Probably gonna have a lot at the high of the days right now. So there's the UAMI trade. There's the ASTS trade. Got those already. Navitas. Ooh, I love this. I got no skin in the game here, but I definitely want to get some skin in the game. This is a strong swing trade coming on up. So we talked about this from the last week or so. I don't have the exact post that I made in the trading room. This is like 1 or 2 weeks back. I'll probably dig deep and find it though, because I do want to show it for my own trading sake too. I got to figure out what level I was telling you to watch. But more or less, this is definitely breaking higher highs here from last week's levels, and looks like a gap fill now, pretty much up towards like 12 and change. Like we said, we love our gaps here. All right, I'm prioritizing that one. I'm going to put that near the highs. Oh my God, we got ASPI and we got ASTI and we got ASTS and NVTS. Oh, okay, so this thing though, the ASPI is like number 42 on the gainers list. This thing, we got a hot market here, folks. So the ASPI, tripping myself up as I'm typing this list out to you right now. This is actually really strong too. Very strong run right now. It's a nuclear isotope type of play. So if this is up, perhaps there's a good chance that like SMR can make a little push here. OKLO, maybe trying to break out soon. It's definitely choppy and consolidating. SMR definitely stronger today, at least. This has been choppy and consolidating on the daily chart for a little while. So, you know what? I'm going to actually put SMR both on the side list. This one's going to take precedence here, take priority. So the ASPI we're going to focus more on. Oh my God. All right. So we really don't need to build up too big of a list, guys, right? I mean, we haven't even gotten to the TE trade yet. I took half my trade out on this earlier, so I might have to close out on this soon enough. I don't think I've moved my stop either. So otherwise, though, TE is pulling back. I think that we're done on this for today. Nice little trade earlier. UAVS, another like drone EVTOL stock. All right, I'll tell you what. We're going to go through it, but I don't think that we're going to find too much on the loser side here. Now, typically when I say that, there ends up becoming a great short just out of thin air, and like I have egg in my face. But we'll find out. NBY needs better volume on the book. Good chart though. Geez, market's probably doing pretty good altogether, I'm sure. SPY, we'll take a look at Bitcoin before we finish up. Yeah, listen, there's not much on the loser side for right now. That's good. Even with the market dipping back down a little bit here, really not a whole lot that was like down percentage-wise, though. USD, Bitcoin here, kind of making higher lows just from earlier on today. Hey, real quick, pop quiz just as we finish up. Of course, we went over this in our phase 1 course earlier on this morning, or earlier on this week, mind you, pardon me. What time do we expect reversals to happen at? Loss of momentum, reversals. What do we think, folks? 10:30. That's nice. Take a picture of that hanging in the Louvre. Seriously, I mean, just bounce right at 10:30, pretty much on the gun, right back on up. So that's actually what held me into a Bitcoin trade just before. So I was thinking about taking some profit and actually thought about that. I'm like, ooh, reversal time. Let me hang into this a little bit longer, give it at least that. And there we go. So Alibaba, Jen, kind of flat here. If the ETF is that, so it's probably going to be the same type of chart. Netflix got out on that, took some profit on that, like tiny, but this is the exact line that I used to get out right here. So I walked away and I came back and I saw it down. I was so happy because I was thinking if I get out, it might just slingshot back up. So I'm probably just done with Netflix for a little while, at least for today. Maybe we'll come back to it tomorrow, just check it out. But that was just kind of a one-off based on the earnings drop. I told you this like 1,000 times at this point. I came off class with you in phase 1 on Tuesday, and I just check out the trading room as I'm finishing up. I'm closing up shop here, at the Levitan compound. Step outside for a little bit, go for a run. I saw Rich had Netflix up on the chart in the room. I saw, Leda and Michael talking about it. I'm like, ooh, That's interesting. I didn't even realize they had earnings. So it was a one-off trade. It just popped up out of thin air. I'm not going to remain attached to it. It might go back up from that 82 over time, but I'll tell you what, if this breaks below 82, 82-ish, 83, 82 over time, it's going to go to 70, 65 even. I'll tell you that. So be careful on Netflix. GameStop. Ooh, GameStop little squeezer there, Mike. Yeah, it's up over 5% at the highs. Definitely popping right now as we're wrapping up here. So pretty timely. Really good. Let's see if what else we got here. I'm going to add one more because we have such a big list. This probably will be the one I add. Looks really good. Cherry pick. The U Trade. You got the uranium stocks. Doing pretty good altogether. I think the U, all about you, as I like to nickname it. This is probably the strongest of those today. I see that on my scanner right now. MP, it's doing all right. It's having its day. Rigetti, it's doing all right. We've seen it do better. It's not really like that great. It's good. But on a day like today where you have so much out there, we have like 12, 15 stocks on our damn list already. I'll tell you what, Mike, we're just going to get to it there. The GameStop, we'll add that for sure. That's a good trade. Good call. All right, folks, I'll tell you what, we got a maxed out list at this point. I love what we got. I'll pretty this list up to at least here before we finish up. And then Rich will be on the mic taking you into the close. I'll be on private coaching at least from 3 to 3:30. I'll tell you if I jump into any other trades before we finish up here, at least before the end of it all. But the TE trade, going to close that out before today. That could be a good swing trade from these levels, but that wasn't my game plan going in. Archer, going to ride that out. That's just going to be in the portfolio at least as long as it's profitable. IBRX, same deal. USAR, we'll see how that closes out. I'm probably going to keep that remaining little part as a day trade. But all in all, folks, hey, we'll be back on in just a little bit. Best of luck trading going into the market close. Take care.